Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Gaz9919 here, and what we're going to be doing today is painting the bumpers I got for Dennis, the ZTS ones. I've literally got everything ready. We're going to start with prep, so we're going to sand it down back to the plastics, try and get as much paint off as we can. Then we're going to prime, and then smoothing that down, paint, smoothing that down, and then finally with the lacquer coat. So it's going to be quite a long procedure, because for the most part it's just going to be waiting, as always with painting. But these should look really good by the time I'm finished. Fingers crossed. But you know, we'll try our best, and that's the best we can do. So let's get to it. So I've got a little setup here. These are the two bumpers, and I've got an old guitar rack. Put some bits of wood on the bottom to like sort of weight it down, and then these seem to fit on quite nicely. Okay, so the stuff I've bought is the different types of sanding paper, one for the prep, two for the prime, and obviously one for the paint. I've got myself a sanding block, and obviously in here we've got the primer, the Panther Black spray paint, and the clear lacquer for the finishing touch. So I'm trying to do this as proper as I can. I've sprayed things before, but never on this sort of scale. So I'm just going to try my best and see what sort of result we get from it. Now, because the guitar rack isn't so sturdy, I'm not going to use that for sanding. I'll only use that for painting. I'm going to use a bin for sanding, because obviously I can apply a bit more pressure and not worry about the damn thing collapsing. So this is sit rep after about maybe half hour. Main reason it being half hour is because I did have the sanding block, and then that was taking too long, so I figured sod it, I'm going to use the electric sander. And this is the progress we've made. Okay, I'm pretty much through all my sandpaper. Now, although it's not a consistent colour all round, it is a smooth surface to paint on, so we should be alright. I'm literally just going to wash it down, wash all the dust off, as you don't want to be painting on top of dust, otherwise it's going to lead to imperfections. And then we can probably make a start on the front one. I am a bit limited for time today, so we probably won't get around to spraying anything. But that won't affect you guys in this video anyway, because I'll just clump it all together in one video. Right then, so that's the front bumper, as good as done for the time being. I've run out of time for today, unfortunately, so I'm going to hose this down, I think, get all the powder off, store it somewhere dry, ideally, and I think we're going to get rid of this little bit as well, because there's still a bit of paint here, but the sander can't reach there, so I'm going to have to do that manually. For the most part, it's not looking too bad. Progress has been made today. It's taken about 3 hours, but we're further than we was yesterday, so that's what matters the most. Okay, for this coat I've pretty much laid it on really thick. Any imperfections I'm literally just going to sand away, but there's still the odd black bit here and there and little bits like that, but I'm sure with the finer sandpaper we can get a reasonably smooth surface for the paint, so I'm not too worried about those just yet. So that is the last coat. I'm going to let that dry and then I'm going to commence with the sanding, smoothing it down a bit because it is quite rough and we do need it a bit smoother than that ideally. Okay, so that's that sanded. It's now a nice smooth surface. Now we're just going to wipe down any dust, because obviously we want the paint to stick. And yeah, wipe it down, let it dry, and then with any luck we can start painting. So the third coat has just dried. I've on my second can. I think I'm going to run out, so I'm hoping my partner has some more that she used for her car. If so, then I'm going to put another coat on and I think run off back home, see if I can grab it. So the day is coming to an end. I literally have just found the tiniest bit of black spray. I think it might just do it. I'm going to let this dry and see what the result is. I can't see too many places that have been missed, but I'll not know properly until the paint's fully dried, and then obviously I'll have to come back another day to lacquer. Okay, so that one is now dried. With the paint we've got these few dots here which are like really smooth. I have no idea what they are. I've just put a wet finger mark on that, never a good sign. Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but I don't think the paint's taken to these sections, because it just feels like as smooth as the primer underneath it. So I don't know. I'm not a professional painter. I don't know these things, but to be fair, throughout the whole bumper, the colour consistency isn't too bad. Under here it could be a bit better, so we're definitely going to need another layer of paint. And I think we'll stick another layer on this, and then I've started prepping the front bumper. So after I put another layer on this, I'm going to make a start on the front bumper, and then hopefully they should both just need clear lacquering at the same time.
Right then, so it is D-Day where the bumpers go back on. I'm not overly impressed with what I've done, but I think they look like acceptable for the time being. I may whip them off and go over them again at some point. But to be honest, they've been sat for that long. I haven't had a good weekend to go at it. What with having plans with family and whatnot, and having a baby and things like that. Like it's really hard to get the time to do stuff. So I've really done as many coats and as many layers as I possibly could. Yeah, it's to my standards, it's like acceptable standards, but it could be better. There is a bit on the front bumper where it didn't quite set right, but I don't think it's crazy noticeable unless you know it's there. But either way, again, I'll probably have them off and do them at a later date anyway. But I just want to get them on the car more than anything. We're going to start with the rear bumper. With the rear bumper, there are literally 2 bolts. One here, one here. They're the main 2 bolts, and then obviously you've got bolts and that around the wheel arch. So I think, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Yeah, this bolt here goes into the wheel arch. For the 2 bolts at the top of the bumper, I will be using a 13mm deep reach socket, and it's literally, the bolt is literally next to the light, and you have a feel around, and there it is. I'm choosing the deep reach one because it makes it easier, and 2, if you have a shorter one, it's easier to drop it down there and lose it forever. So just makes life a little bit easier.